The narrative structure of learning through companionship. This is a case study that has been done to investigate the psychological processes involved in the social emotional development of children in nurture groups and considers how they participate and make meaning through the relationships they have built within groups. This is making meaning guides to the ways that children make sense of their nurture group experience over 1 year. Studying children's interconnectedness with others were measured through their levels of involvement and participation and engagement with people and experiences in the nurture group. Nurture groups are used to assist children with social, emotional, and behavioral difficulties, also known as SEBD. They aim to nurture specific populations of children whose difficulties are considered to result from disrupted intersubjective learning in the early years due to fractured or chaotic family relationships. The groups draw from a standardized practice model, and it displays certain features such as small class sizes, typically 6 to 10 children, and 2 specially trained nurture staffs. It has a welcoming, friendly environment with a homey feeling. It offers multiple opportunities because it has the one-on-one and small group interactions. They have a consistent routine. They use a thing called chunking of sessions into short, manageable time periods. And children's learning needs are met at their own stage of development. The groups are based on caregiver interaction principles and are designed to recreate missed early social emotional experiences through careful attendance to social and emotional competence. They are shown to assist in the building of positive relationships between the pupils as well as the staff and the parents, with the results of improvements in the pupil's social emotional functioning and academic attainment. Essential skills for classroom learning such as attention, concentration, participation, and effective communication are learned in infancy and early childhood through attuned intersubjective relationships with an effective other, such as between the child and their primary caregiver, allows children to feel safe and to regulate positive and negative effects. They learn to participate positively with people and objects. When such early learning experiences are disrupted, the effects may be displayed in SEBD in the classroom. Nurture groups address these difficulties by providing the opportunity to create early or recreate early learning opportunities and build positive relationships in school. They set out to develop social and emotional learning as a basis for classroom learning by working in effectively attuned relations to structure the child's engagement. The project followed 17 preschool and primary school children and 4 part-time nurture groups over 1 school year. Weekly nurture group sessions were video recorded and the recordings were microanalyzed to identify the nonverbal narrative structures consisting of body movement, facial expression, and eye gaze patterns were identified and mapped over time to understand the intersubjective and embodied nature of active and meaning making in nurture group learning. This case study excerpt displays findings from a video data analysis of one child's interactions by the name of Peter. Peter was referred to the nurture group on evidence of diagnostic need and developmental delay measured by the Boxell profile. The Boxell profile is a standardized teacher-rated assessment tool designed to identify emotional barriers to learning, plan focused intervention, and measure change and progress in individual children. Peter's Boxell profile displays a range of exhibited behaviors that interfere with learning. His profile describes him as a child who is emotionally insecure, does not engage with others, cannot sustain attention, does not participate, is not involved, displays negatively towards others, self, and avoids contact with others. The analysis of video recordings made in the early nurture group sessions show Peter as a child who does not often sit still, regularly moving around and fidgeting, rarely makes eye contact, has difficulty communicating, hangs back and sits on the edge of the group, appears anxious, and does not smile often. Peter is perceived by the researcher as a lost child who is overwhelmed by the primary school classroom, finding himself unable to make sense of the rules, instructions, and interactions that take place around him. With his mind preoccupied by this continuous confusion, he appeared unable to self-regulate the arousal, interest, and engagement required to attend to prescribed tasks and interact positively with others. Peter attends the nurture group for one 75-minute session per week. The group is regularly reliable and predictable, always on the same day and time with the same 2 staff members, small group of children, and consistent structure. Each 75-minute session is segmented into shorter chunks of time. After 1 school year in nurture group, Peter's Boxer profile assessment shows improvement in the areas of involvement, engagement, emotional security, and attachment. Observations made in the nurture room provide a picture of a child who sits still, pays attention, actively participates, makes eye contact, shows enthusiasm, initiates shared interaction, communicates well, smiles, laughs, and has positive friendships and ingredients of social and emotional relationships. This is a chart to show the complete nurture group session of 75 minutes. A shows the complete 75 minutes. This session is also broken down in B into 12 activity sessions of 15 minutes or less, with small periods of transition between when the child moves from one activity to another. These activity sessions are further broken down in C. It shows the shared projects of interaction lasting a number of minutes, which may be solitary or one-on-one, or maybe in small group interactions. With these projects of interactions, they are displayed, and D shows the multiple project elements, each lasting for a few seconds, that combine to produce the completed project. This is a chart showing the challenge time activity. This is a chart that has 5 nurture group sessions spread over the course of 1 year. For 1 child are displayed. The elements of initiation, build, climax, and resolution create a 4-part narrative structure as described in the previous slide, increasing in structural form over time. This study explores the ways in which children displaying SCBD can learn to engage positively with others and with school learning through careful attunement of feelings and movement with a sensitive partner in safe, structured, predictable environment. In this way, children learn the attention, concentration, and participation in social skills that are required for successful classroom learning. These nurture group experience through verbal and non-verbal narrative cycles. It's proposed that these narrative cycles become a template for interaction, allowing children to be supported to learn new social emotional expectations and patterns of relations that assist their social relationships and ultimately their engagement with learning.